headshots. What did you say? What? I missed it.
I said I have the bullet wound security.
Yeah,
but she's a wonderful photographer, and actually some headshots that I've used for cons are this one.
Oh, thank you. That's one of my talents. That's what I love to do. I am addicted to Lightroom 4. I'll admit it, I have a problem. I am. Talents, anybody?
If you enjoyed me much this weekend, you saw two of my other absolute passions. Stage combat has been a part of my life since I did Oliver at the age of 12. I am a stage combat junkie. I love working as a fight director. I love teaching stage combat. And then if any of you were at Anime Unscripted, one of my other real passions is improvisational comedy. I've run a couple of different comedies. Monica performed with us for a while. Greg performed with us for a while. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Usually on my Kindle are at least 2 improvisational theory books. So yeah, that's pretty fun.
I would say I DJ, but that's not a secret. So I guess my secret one is I'm a really good cook, and I love to cook really weird stuff. So.
He's a really good cook. I've in the past couple years discovered that I have a knack for creating delicious cocktails.
And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you in the middle of creating drinks?
I am. I'm working on a series of cocktails based on BBC Sherlock.
Yeah!
So 2 weeks ago I came up with a Study in Pink cocktail, and I just nailed down the Blind Banker cocktail.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Nice.
I'm a huge Sherlock fan, so that's awesome.
I will be having some of those cocktails.
I have a question. I have a question. I just want to say it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, sure.
I want to know, how do you become a voice actor?
Oh my God, Micah, get out.
Get out, Michael Soul son. I will come out there and meet you. And you know I'll do it.
Ride this little scooter.
That's right. Scooter out there.
Don't
and I will
know,
run over
like
you.
just a second.
That's what you get.
That's what you get, Michael Soul son.
Is everybody awake now?
Can I get a head start?
Can I just
Wait,
I was just gonna say I'm a rodeo clown and a clog dancer in my spare time.
What?
Wow. But it is the most dangerous job in the world, so that's something that kind of passes. And I flew a plane for the first time last year. It was so cool! It's wants to be here. I actually, for years I was a fine artist, and I still am, and I actually have a page on DeviantArt.
Oh my God, her paintings are absolutely amazing.
I paint, I draw, I sculpt. My mother finally brought me back. She's like, you don't have to draw on the wall. You know, there's other things for that. And I'm a classically trained pianist, although I haven't had access to a piano really in a while. But yeah, that's right. Everything that my brain conceives of is audiovisual. That's just kind of how it works. So I knew I was going to have to communicate in some way. But yeah, but I'm still gunning for rodeo.
We have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
Quick speed round.
Okay, so make sure they're easy questions.
Make sure they're easy questions to answer.
Oh, no worries. I've just seen your hand up forever.
All right. Kindly. Okay. What personally do you find to be your just straight up strangest roles or lines ever that just stick with you?
Juicy party, yay! That's the strangest line I've ever had. Because it's completely out of context.
Oh, that's easy. I played Hitler in a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Clapping! That's not a good thing!
And Hitler has still, to this day, one of the most offensive lines I've ever said. He's fighting he's fighting Goten and Trunks kids, and they power up to Super Saiyan, right? And he says, blonde hair, blue eyes, super strength. I should be recruiting them.
Yeah, now you're like, oh!
Yes. I had a lot of bad lines in Gantz that I can't repeat. I'll say probably some of the strangest lines I had was in a very underrated show that I still push called Papua that I love. And I play a Sia who has a love of jazz music. So when he fights, he goes, hey, this skeleton. And every as it goes in 4 minutes, the chat says, and I was like,
Mine, strange mind, Richard.
We're laughing down here because within about a 2-month stretch, I was not the voice of one penis, but 2 different penises in 2 different shows. And I don't know how that happened, but I'm Tomaki's talking weenie in Heaven's Lost Property, which is hysterical. And he sounds like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. And I think my favorite line there is when he goes, he's like, "Stop it, go away," and he goes, "How about now? 40 now?" And then right after that, I was the voice of the Wiener Spirit in Begata HK. So yeah, there was a time in my life that I was just oh, I can't say that word anymore.
Greg, I also played a talking dong recently in Gangstar Vegas, the video game that's coming out. Like Grand Theft Auto, when you're driving around, you hear the radio station, all the commercials, and there's a commercial for a new cop show where it's about a cop and his new partner is his penis. And it's sort of like a Harvey Feinstein thing, and he's, you know, so yeah.
I don't really have anything after talking penises. I mean, it's now one of my goals to figure out how to play a talking penis.
Talking about boobs, penises, what else?
Okay. We have time for one more lightning round question. Okay, so I'm thinking. All right,
Pressure's on you, Joe. We've been picking people all weekend. Pressure's on you.
Okay. It was a quick question. We're talking quick. Anyone? All right,
I have a question for Monica Rail.
Last question for everybody. I have a question for everybody.
Gotta be for everybody, sorry. All right, anyone? Okay, you.
And it's real.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Do any of you get freaked out, especially early on in your career, just watching your works and saying, "Hey, do I really sound like that?"
Oh my god. I tell everybody, just real quick, I tell everybody that in my head I sound like Colleen Blickenbeer, because I do. I sound sexy in my head. I know that's not what you people. I've gotten adjusted to hearing it come out of character voices, but whenever I hear a commentary or somebody plays a video or something, I am mortified.
See, but we love her voice, though. We love Monica's voice. I absolutely adore it.
You should be hearing yourself on tape.
Yeah, it does.
It helps when you get used to it though, because then you know what you're gonna sound like when you do a thing. And I never really had that problem when I was a kid. When I was like 9, 10 years old, I used to make radio shows at home with friends. A friend of mine who lived down the street, and we would play all these different characters and record it. So I'd been playing at that since I was a kid. So by the time I started doing it professionally, I actually had a really good idea of what I sounded like when I did it. So.
Yeah, it's always been a thing to me that it weirds me out. That someone once said to me, like, you know, you can't ever really hear how you actually sound, you know, when you're speaking. So you think you sound a certain way. It's like if you tried to play a trombone, but you tried to play it from inside the trombone, you'd never be able to hear what that actually sounds like. And so yeah, that's why I think I like voice work, because lately I've been asked a lot to lay down in a deeper place, lay on my chords, gravelly, stuff like that. But when I'm asked to, especially if I'm doing, you know, like a commercial voiceover audition, and I'm just asked to really just my own voice, there's still, even after years of hearing it, it's still like, really? That's how I sound? That's embarrassing.